The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
Today, two very different kinds of pursuits. First, an uninvited visitor takes a field trip terrifying an elementary school. And then, an elusive angler brings a different spin to the phrase, catch and release.
My name is Randy Nelson, and in my 35-year career as a fishery officer, I became known as the best investigator in British Columbia.
Just leave him out here to rot.
As a best-selling author, I've contacted hundreds of wardens from all over North America to hear their tales.
Fish and wildlife here. See that smell? Look at there. We have a warrant to search your premises.
There's blood on the ground.
These are their case files.
Game warden, put your guns on the ground.
Officer down.
You're under arrest.
Go, 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 go. There he goes. Yay.
What the heck?
So officers often receive calls about problem wildlife, where usually it's with bears, but you have one that's a little bit different.
Yeah, in Saskatoon, we deal with a lot of urban moose. They like to come into the city, get into the green spaces, eat everyone's flowers, some really good nutrients for them. So it's not uncommon for me to receive a phone call at 5 or 6 in the morning to say there's a moose running around Saskatoon. On average, I probably remove, anywhere between 5 and 12 a year that come into the city and get themselves into trouble and take them outside of the city far enough that we can get them back in some natural habitat away from the urban setting.
Warden's office. Where are you guys located? All right, we'll be there soon. Thank you. Got another moose in town.
All right.
Typically when we go to these calls, one officer will get eyes on the animal to find out if it's one we can, just kind of haze or push out, or if it's one that we have to, use some drugs and immobilize and then relocate it out of the city.
Cindy, why don't you start redirecting traffic? I'm
Okay,
gonna push this
gotcha.
thing north.
Thanks. Oh, stop. Go ahead.
The moose was in an agitated state. It was on the very northeast side of Saskatoon, and if I could have got the cow to moose to run another 1 kilometer down this area to the east, it had been right outside of the city.
If you could have chased them that distance, then it would have been out the gates and gone, sort of thing.
That was my intention. And there's one thing I know about dealing with moose is that if I try to get a moose to go this way, he would come right back this way. They don't listen to you when you tell them what to do. I ended up parking on the scene, keeping eyes on this, and trying to divert people away from it. If there's more noise this way, it'll naturally walk away from the noise.
A moose can be very dangerous, I understand.
As a moose gets agitated through different things, people, wildlife, just being confined, they start getting in a heightened state of panic. When they do that, they can start running, upwards of 30, 40 kilometers an hour real quick. We're running through an area where kids are starting to walk through school. There's lots of vehicle traffic in the area, and you have a 450-pound animal running that fast, it'll run through everything. And these are very strong animals. These are not something that people should be trying to get close to or pet. Even when you see a moose, the best thing to do is just give it space and stay away and keep your dogs away from them.
Sir, please get back. This moose is getting more and more agitated. Get behind me, sir. Sir, please stand back.
I lost sight of the moose and got back in my truck, radioed my partners for a couple extra bodies in hand because we have probably upwards of 2,000 kids entering these two schools, and as well as families, a lot of traffic starting to move in that area at the worst time of the day.
The risk is climbing fast with school time coming, kids around, moms and dads and everybody, and moose a little bit out of control.
So I ended up calling, my sister is actually a grade 8 teacher at the school, maybe just bring all the kids inside a little bit early so that, we don't have any risk of a situation. And as I rounded the corner on the edge of the school, I received a phone call from Saskatoon Police Service. We found the moose. The moose is running inside the school.
Inside the school now?
Yeah.
The moose just ran into the school.
What do you mean the moose is in the school? Like on the playground on the east side?
No, man, like inside. It went inside the school.
Oh my God, inside?
I responded to, probably upwards of 100 different moose in the city. And I usually don't get too excited about these things because it becomes just a routine task through the job duties. But my mind went to this moose running through the middle of the hallway. It took a while for me to process what was happening.
It's gotten a lot more serious in a real hurry.
My stress level went through the roof. I'm usually a pretty calm guy, but I called my partner right away. He didn't quite understand what I said when it was in the hallway too. And, talking to him afterwards, he said he could hear, my voice cracking and the stress in my voice at that point.
Well, these are kids, and you know what a moose can do, so you're scared.
100%. I got young kids, and I've thought about, what if those are my kids in the school, or my sister teaches at that school, what if it's in her class? They're just worried about the potential for injury here.
Absolutely.
The moose kind of ran around the corner of the school, and there's full windows, probably 8-foot high windows.
Plate glass windows.
Plate glass windows. And the moose ran directly, didn't hesitate, ran right in through the window. Ended up hitting a desk where kids were sitting at a small table, 2 kids on both sides. And they hit that desk and turned the kids out of the chairs. And the moose just landed right in the classroom, right in the middle. Miraculously, there was only minor wounds there, a little bit of cuts from the glass and stuff, but nobody was seriously injured,
That's
which was
very fortunate. I mean, broken plate glass, crawling through that in a hurry. They were very lucky.
I believe the moose saw the reflection through the window of open space, and I think that's what it did, is it just thought it was open space and ran through it. We had to set up a perimeter in case the moose was to come back out, so we had to clear the kids out of an area in case we had to use lethal methods to dispose of the moose there if it got up and caused some issues. But the moose was actually very cooperative. It once it bedded down in that classroom, it just kind of sat there.
So it's laying on the floor, or
Sitting right in the middle of the classroom, yeah. Once we assessed the scene and knew that the moose was calm and there's no kids within the classroom, and we kind of had it loosely contained except for the hole in the window where it ran through, we ended up mixing a drug up in a dart, and we're able to safely inject the animal.
So you had to have that plan in place. You plan to immobilize it with drugs, but if it goes through the window and back out, somebody's gonna have to shoot this thing.
We had to look at, an option in case this thing was gonna cause somebody else some issues there. Thankfully, we didn't have to.
Yes.
But we always have to have those options in the back of our mind. So we have a tarp that we had custom made. We put the moose onto the tarp, and with the assistance of many of the police officers, we were able to take it out of the doors, and then we were able to winch it into the box of my truck, and I took it just outside of Saskatoon to a place where there's lots of good habitat, water for the moose, and we were able to give it some reversal drug. And within 4 minutes or so, it was up and walking and started eating. We put an ear tag in it so that we can identify that moose if it was to come back into the city at a later date there. So
I understand you would call the moose was called Sylvia.
Well, that was a nickname I gave the moose
Okay.
in relation to the school. The school is actually Sylvia Fedoric School. And the kids had a different nickname for it, but that's just what we referred to it as in our office there.
So Sylvia's got a new earring thanks to you.
She does, yeah. And she was spotted, a few months later by a couple people. And then since then, we haven't had anybody call saying that, she's back. She's never been back in the city to our knowledge. And we never heard of, a hunter harvesting her or anything, so.
And what happens with the school, the kids in school?
We bought a bunch of stuffed little moose, and we put little junior conservation officer badges on them. And then they did a big school assembly where myself and our association president met up with the class. We talked to the kids about everything, and we showed some pictures of the moose walking away, and then we presented each one of these kids one of these stuffed moose.
That was a great idea. It's trying to relieve some of the trauma while at the same time educating the whole school about wildlife. Good job. The job isn't all about poaching.
No, this is, it was a stressful situation, but at the end of it, the outcome turned out pretty good. So
You turned a really potentially dangerous, traumatic situation into a good story by doing what you did with his kids.
thank you.
Coming up, we have a peculiar case off the lost coast of California.
So Bob, sometimes when people think of game wardens, they think of just checking licenses and some of the more mundane tasks. And that is a big part of the job. But I think what some people don't realize is sometimes the complex enforcement, other law enforcement investigations that evolve from such simple things. And you have a story to share with us of such a case.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to run into out there. The most routine call can just turn sideways or have, some twist that you didn't really quite expect that day. So, but that's what's a great part of the job. One time I was working on the Lost Coast. Lost Coast is located in southern Humboldt County, very remote location. The weather's very unpredictable down there. It's a really fun place to work. The downside of working down there is there's no communication down on the beach. So your radio's dead, your cell phone's dead. So you really kind of have to be savvy and if you get yourself into trouble, you got to get yourself out of trouble.
No backup.
Because there's no help coming, right?
Correct.
There's nobody coming to help you out. So one of the days I was down there, like to work from a little vantage point, and I always like to use a spotting scope or binoculars or try to get a heads up on what the bad guys are doing before they see me. I'm sure you've done that in your career many times. I like to know about them before they see me coming. And so in this particular case, I saw a pickup and I was thinking about how I'm gonna approach the subjects. So I knew they were down there, either fishing or collecting abalone or doing something that I have a vested interest in regulating. So I drove quickly down to their position, hoping that they didn't get all packed up and leave before I got there, 5 to 7 minutes for me to get to their position from where I was.
You ready to head back?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's work up. Uh-oh.
Afternoon, fellows.
Good afternoon.
How'd you do?
A few bites, a few catches, but we'll take it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You want to take a look?
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So my job is to check basically 3 things: what they catch, how they catch it, and if they have their proper licensing to do what they're doing.
So let's see your driver's license and your fishing licenses, if you would please, gentlemen.
Okay. Any of that?
So far, no problem. As we're doing that, I checked the fishing license. The first person I checked, who later identified himself as Tom, handed me his California driver's license and a California fishing license.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You got yours?
I don't have my wallet on me. I must have forgot it. Sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna still need to get your name.
It's Shane Smith.
The second subject, Shane, was the name that he later gave me, didn't have a fishing license and had no identification.
Unfortunately, I have to write you a ticket for fishing without a license.
I understand, sir.
Hold here, I'll be right back.
What are you doing?
So in my career, I have encountered many people, I'm sure as you have, who, believe it or not, will give you a false name to maybe get out of a certain situation. Usually they have a arrest warrant or there's some other problem where law enforcement wants to know who they are, and without ID, there's really no way to verify that. And then again, I told you, the communications is very poor down there. So no radio, no cell phone. So what can I do? We've learned and we have techniques to ask questions to hopefully mitigate some of that. Shane, flawless. Every time I asked him, he said his name, he said his middle name, he said his address, he said his phone number. So I felt pretty confident based on their demeanor and the way things were going that he was giving me the correct name and things were gonna be okay. But that little voice in the back of my head kept telling me, don't make this rookie mistake, Bob. So I wrote the ticket for no fishing license to Shane, and I let them, go on their way. That voice kept nagging at me. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna drive to higher ground where I knew there was a cell signal and just verify the information. And sure enough, I had been given false information.
I'm gonna still need to get your name.
It's Shane Smith.
I had been given false information. Now, right away, my heart sank. I knew, you know, the fact that someone lies to you, that never really gets better for me. For me,
you were duped, and that feels bad.
yes, yeah, and I like to think the best about people, but again, I got lied to, and that's never, I don't like that feeling, right? So I thought, well, how can I fix this? Made me a little angry, you know, and I especially don't want my partners to know that I just got duped again, right? So I thought to myself, well, I'm gonna try and catch these guys. They had about a 45-minute head start, so never did see him. But my backup plan was I knew where Tom lived because I had his driver's license. Okay, things are going my way. Things are going my way. I'm gonna be able to talk to this guy and he's gonna give me the information and I can identify who his friend was.
Hi,
Hello.
is your dad here?
Yeah, let me go get him.
Great, thanks.
Dad!
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey, would you mind stepping out here so we can talk?
Yeah, you wanna sit on the bench? I'll be back.
Who's your friend?
I mean, his name's not Shane, it's Peyton. Don't even know why he gave you that false name.
Can you tell me where he lives?
Well, you're not gonna believe me, but I don't know his address. I can show you where his apartment is.
Okay. You want to take me down there and show me where he lives then?
All right, sis, we'll be back in a minute.
And so I had a 4-door pickup. So I put him in the back of the pickup with the deeply tinted windows, right? So I drove around the corner. So I kind of put my truck in an area where, you know, there was no real direct line of sight to Tom sitting in my truck.
Stay here. I don't want him to see you.
Okay.
What'd you say his name was?
His name's Peyton.
Okay.
Are you freaking kidding me? He wanted me to go out, and I didn't think it was a big deal. You know that you can't do that. Okay, we were out in the middle of nowhere.
Officer Farrell, Fish and Wildlife, open the door.
No answer.
Hello? Open the door.
And I could hear some movement in the back.
I'm looking for Shane or Peyton.
Kind of saw some shadows, and the door opens.
Ma'am, I'm looking for Shane or Peyton. Does he live at this address?
Well, as she's standing there, I look down and I see those same pair of wetsuit booties sitting in the doorway. And I was like, are those your wetsuit booties?
I don't have to.
And she just says, I don't have to talk to you, and slams the door.
Ma'am, I'm looking for Shane or Peyton.
You can't make me talk.
And I said, look, if you're harboring a criminal, I'm gonna get a search warrant and I'm gonna come back here, and who's ever hiding inside, I'm gonna arrest, and you're gonna be part of that investigation and that crime, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to talk to you. So she shuts the door again.
He's trying to call our bluff. I ain't going out there.
But I'm gonna bluff it.
I need a search warrant for 32 Bloom Street. Uh-huh. Yep. I've got one male and one female, possibly more.
There's no one on the other end, and I'm looking up, and pretty soon I see the curtain start to move. The door opens up, and there's Shane or Peyton or whatever his name is. I give up, I give up, I give up. This guy's giving me a false name, have no idea who he is.
Yeah, okay. I'm probably going to jail anyways.
Turn around. You're under arrest.
Yep.
So he gives me his name, his date of birth. I call it in over the radio to the local dispatch, and they're like, stand by. And then I know something's wrong, because usually it clears pretty quick. And then they come back with, oh yeah, he's got an active arrest warrant out of Texas, stand by for more information. And it turns out that this guy has a very high level warrant that they want him to go to jail, basically. He was in prison for burglary, and he was on a work crew, and he walked away from the work crew, and he'd been on the run for almost 6 years.
Wow.
So this guy's been on the run for a while. And he says, I can't believe I got caught fishing and I'm going back to prison. And then I'm normally not this good, but I said, well, you've never met a California game warden.